Welcome to Blueprints Unsealed, a series of reflections and thought depicting a life and times of society's most influential people, ideas, and culture. We often hear that space is the final frontier, a concept that is still in its infancy, an idea once thought to go beyond the realm of our capabilities. However, there's a strong bond between the cosmos and the mind that transcends both space and time. Their origins remain a mystery, and perhaps the answer lies beyond the boundaries of our own comprehension. The Big Bang created the universe, just the same as the spark of lightning created consciousness. The vastness of the universe is strikingly similar to the magnitude of the mind. There are elements to the universe that are known and observable, but there exist energies and forces that elude us. Such is the case between the conscious and subconscious realms of the mind. Much of our understanding of space is due in large to our understanding of general relativity, which focuses on the relationship between stars and galaxies. And our comprehension of the brain stems from our understanding of neural networks, which consist of individual neurons in its web of connections. We send astronauts and instruments into space, not only to study the universe, but to explore and interact with it. So, is it possible to explore our own mind? Not from the standpoint of self-reflection, but as an observer that gets to explore the hidden depths of the human psyche. In today's segment, we will explore the Psychonaut Theory. The understanding of consciousness is crucial to the Psychonaut Theory. But what is consciousness? The prevailing thought suggests that it includes a sense of awareness of one's environment and the ability to respond to stimuli. However, this notion of self is an elusive concept. For instance, our identity can be associated with our thoughts and beliefs. Essentially, it includes whatever subjective viewpoint of the person. However, consciousness goes well beyond your personal perspective. It's deeper than you. In essence, who you truly are is not based on who you think you are. In fact, your perception has nothing to do with it. For instance, a person in a coma is considered to be in a state of unconsciousness or lacking awareness. Scans show that in this state, the brain has minimum activity. It won't normally respond to sound or pain or be able to communicate or move voluntarily. Additionally, a person in a coma won't respond normally to painful stimuli, light or sound, lacks a normal sleep-wake cycle, does not initiate voluntary actions, being unable to consciously feel, speak, hear, or move. However, plants do not have a brain, but yet they respond to sunlight and demonstrate preferences in its everyday environment. What's interesting is that most people would not consider a plant conscious. We even refer to patients that are brain dead as being in a vegetative state, even though plants demonstrate a high sense of awareness and perhaps hold the keys to unlocking the brain's full potential. In fact, the most currently used anesthetic agents are derived from plants. Scientists discovered, for reasons unknown, under anesthesia, the brain loses its ability to communicate with itself and the environment. In other words, parts of the brain still talk under anesthesia, but no one is listening. There is, of course, another side to this. If consciousness can be diminished or blocked, perhaps it can also be enhanced. But what does this all mean? Let's consider consciousness as a form of energy. As such, it implies that consciousness can be harnessed, meaning that it is something that can be controlled. This is why monks meditate often. They believe that this can unblock stuck energy in hopes of getting closer to enlightenment or the point of reaching one's full potential. However, some believe that reaching a higher state of consciousness would require additional provisions. In the 1960s, scientists began experimenting with sensory deprivation while under the effects of LSD, a hallucinogenic, and ketamine, a fast-acting anesthetic that is known for its ability to sedate and create a trance-like state. Others have experimented using sensory deprivation tanks to produce similar results. In fact, people have reported many effects, ranging from hallucinations to enhanced creativity. Essentially, This has become an effective way to channel higher energies. By the 1970s, the concept of a psychonaut began to take shape. The origins of the word means sailor of the soul, a powerful concept that has been explored since the classical period in ancient Greece. Even the Romans thought that being able to expand your consciousness was important. Since then, people began taking psychedelic drugs, specifically for exploratory or investigative use. People would deliberately enter altered states of consciousness to explore the hidden depths of the human psyche. Just like an astronaut needs to be both mentally and physically prepared before going into space, a psychonaut must be prepared before exploring inner space of the psyche. Failure to take precautions can lead to death or cause severe brain damage. In fact, the use of psychedelics are illegal in most countries around the world. However, in 1953, the US government allowed the CIA to conduct experiments on humans for purposes of developing procedures and identify drugs such as LSD to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. They called it Project MK Ultra, and many of their test subjects had no knowledge or consent on what was being done. In 1973, when the public got wind of what was happening, the CIA director of the time ordered that all MK Ultra files be destroyed. Although some documents did survive, experts believe that most of the documents were indeed destroyed. So we may never know the full extent of this operation. In short, it appears that psychedelics' main use was for mind control, even though today, some people may argue that it can be used to free the mind. In fact, some of the test subjects who participated in the experiment has credited the substances for their successful creative careers. Perhaps this is evidence of the dynamic implications that psychedelics can have on the brain, which varies from person to person. It has been said that we exist in a third dimension, a dominion that is defined by the measurements of height, width, and depth, or in other words, the realm of shadows. In fact, anything tangible that you can interact with possesses one or more of these dimensions. Some scientists have proposed that the universe with 3 spatial dimensions is the most stable kind of universe that can exist, although many scientists posit that there may be many more. In fact, researchers discovered that the brain sees the world as an 11-dimensional multiverse. Essentially, the brain processes visual information by creating multi-dimensional neurological structures called cliques, which has up to 11 different dimensions and form holes of space called cavities. Once the brain understands the visual information, both the clique and cavity disappears. Turns out, according to superstring theory, the 11th dimension is a characteristic of space-time, and perhaps this holds the key to the mind and space connection. This may explain why Albert Einstein was able to contemplate ideas about the universe that were unfathomable and untestable during his time, but later were proven to be correct. Ideas such as the laws of general relativity, a universal speed limit, lensing effects created by galaxies, black holes, gravitational vortex, and many more concepts created by Einstein simply came to him in a logical manner, which we call the thought experiment. But let me be clear, there's nothing logical or simple about these ideas that Einstein came up with. There's no denying that Einstein was in tune with the universe, unlike anything that we have ever witnessed. In closing, the theory of a psychonaut is about destiny and discovery of a hidden truth. Ancient civilizations around the world understood the connectedness that all living beings share amongst each other, and altering your state of awareness allows you access to worlds beyond the physical. The law of duality states that everything is on a continuum and has a complementary opposite within the whole. Therefore, this very notion suggests that there must be a non-duality component that exists, a point of singularity, or simply a point that is incomprehensible. In fact, Many philosophers believe that the only ultimate reality is consciousness, and that everything else, including the physical world, is somehow derived from consciousness. The desire of mankind to explore the mind has yielded its rewards, but also it has been used to manipulate the vulnerable and unknowing. But one thing is clear: a man's mind is stretched by a new idea or sensation, and never shrinks back to its former dimensions. Thanks for watching. Please consider supporting the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing.